Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So if you watched last week's episode, then you know that I did a decorate for fall with me, which turned into a decorate for fall and Halloween with me because I couldn't decide. Plenty of fall and Halloween things going on in the background. We're having a great time over here. This is personally my favorite time of the year, so I'm not complaining at all that I already have Halloween stuff out. That doesn't bother me one bit, actually. I love the weather. I love Halloween. I love, all the fun movies that come with this time of year. You know what I love most of all about this time of year? Getting to read a good, cozy book. Was that a good transition into what I'm going to be talking about today? I think it was. So today I'm going to be talking about all the cozy books that you could read for this fall. This is mystery, this is fantasy, this is romance, this is dystopian. There's kind of some more subplots in there, but this is going to have a little bit for everyone. So whether you like to read fantasy, whether you like to read romance, whether you like to read mystery, suspense, dystopian, action. But if you like any of those genres, which were basically all the genres, then stick around because you're going to want to wait and see what books that you can read for this fall. So obviously one thing I love to do when reading books in the fall is to grab a cozy blanket, get a warm beverage, snuggle in. It helps if it's raining outside because, it's season. And, it's the perfect time to read. It's my favorite time of the year to read, arguably. Some people might like the summer. Some people like reading by the pool, reading by the beach. While I love those things, I love reading in the colder months, specifically fall, and I just love being able to snuggle up. Oddly enough, the books are not in here, but the books that I really loved snuggling up to last winter were the Ritual series by Chantal Tessier. It's not in the video because it wasn't a fall book, it was a winter book for me. I personally love snuggling up with dark romances when it gets colder outside. I don't know what that says about me. You let me know. In the fall, I love to read a lot of mystery and a lot of fantasy. It's September, and this is the time I really kick off my fall reading. In October, I tend to read more spooky books, so things with witches, ghosts, anything supernatural. And September is usually my more mystery month, so I do have some books on my list that I will be reading this month. And you can check those out by following me on Goodreads or following me on my Bookstagram at Carmen's Reading Corner, where you can kind of keep up with everything that I'm currently reading to kind of give you what you can read and what you can add to your Goodreads. We'll get started, and we're going to start off really, really strong with Catherine Cowles' books. Literally any of them. Pick one. I don't care. They're all amazing. My favorite series right now is the Sparrow Fall series by her. We're waiting on the last book to come out in October. It's been a book that I've been wanting these characters to be together since book 1. It's been a long time coming. Cue Taylor Swift. To kind of give you a synopsis for the first book in the Sparrow Fall series, which is Fragile Sanctuary, the scowl should have been my first clue to stay far away from Anson Hunt. The sexy smirk and the fact that he's my brother's best friend. Reasons 2 and 3. Not to mention, he's the new contractor working on my house. He's everything I'm not. Grumpy, rude, and more than a little attached to his solitude. It doesn't matter how many times I try to kill him with kindness, the man simply won't crack until he sees me shatter. Because when my world comes crashing down around me, Anson is the one catching me as I fall. And as so-called accidents start plaguing every part of my life, it's Anson who steps in to keep me safe. As he does, I can't help but feel a flicker of heat. It only takes a single moment for that spark to ignite into flames, engulfing us both. But Anson's a man with secrets, and they have a price. When they're revealed, neither of us makes it out unscathed. It's a good time. I loved this series. If you like romantic suspense, you like contemporary romance, you like a romance plot with a little bit of Who's stalking her? Why are these bad things happening to her? Who's blackmailing her? Catherine Cowell's books are your books. Like I said, this is the first book for the Sparrow Fall series. I also recently read her Lost and Found series, which was also amazing, kind of the same vibes. They're all small town romance. They all have like, you know, the small town romance, romantic suspense. You've got Grumpy Sunshine, enemies to lovers, friends to lovers, friends to enemies to lovers, enemies to lovers to friends, enemies to lovers to enemies to friends to enemies to lovers to lovers. Yeah, all of them. They're all there. Any trope that you like is going to be in one of the books in her series. Specifically for the Sparrow Fall series, it follows the Coulson family, and each book is about a different one of the Coulson siblings and their journey. This one follows Anson and Rhodes. Rhodes, her family died when she was younger, and so she moved in with the Coulson family. Something else to note about the Coulson, a lot of the siblings aren't the, like, Coulsons by blood. They were, like, a foster family, took in a lot of fosters. So Rhodes was taken in as a, like, she was adopted in, fostered in, whatever you want to call it, when she is trying to restore the house that was burnt down that killed her entire family. Anson is the contractor working on it. So it's a good time. We love, it's very Grumpy Sunshine, it's very enemies to lovers, it's, you know, touch her and die vibes, if you know what I'm saying. It's a really good series. If you are not really looking to get into a series right now, Catherine does have a couple standalones. One that I recently read was All the Missing Pieces. I think this one's perfect for fall. It is about a girl who runs a true crime podcast, and she travels in this van. She travels to this town to investigate one of the things, the murders she's trying to investigate right now, kidnapping, and runs into the grumpy but lovable sheriff in town. And it's Grumpy Sunshine, and it's enemies to lovers, and it's true crime podcasting and trying to investigate a kidnapping / possible murder and small town romance, romantic suspense. What else do you need? They're also on Kindle Unlimited, so for all my KU girlies out there, perfect. The next book series that I have is The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. This is a mystery. This is a young adult mystery. You know, it has all the fun puzzles. It's a good, cozy mystery because it's not one that you're really having to scratch your brain for. It's a bunch of puzzles and riddles, and as the reader, you can kind of play along a little bit. I know as I was reading it, I was trying to figure out the riddles myself, so it's fun. Avery Grams has a plan for a better future. Survive high school, win a scholarship, and get out. But her fortune changes in an instant when billionaire Tobias Hawthorne dies and leaves Avery virtually his entire fortune. The catch? Avery has no idea why or even who Tobias Hawthorne is. To receive her inheritance, Avery must move into sprawling, secret, passage-filled Hawthorne House, where every room bears the old man's touch and his love of puzzles, riddles, and codes. Unfortunately for Avery, Hawthorne House is also occupied by the family that Tobias Hawthorne just dispossessed. This includes the 4 Hawthorne grandsons, dangerous, magnetic, brilliant boys who grew up with every expectation that one day they would inherit billions. Heir apparent Grayson Hawthorne is convinced that Avery must be a con woman, and he's determined to take her down. His brother Jameson views her as the grandfather's last hurrah, a twisted riddle, a puzzle to be solved. Caught in a world of wealth and privilege with danger around every turn, Avery will have to play the game herself just to survive. If you like puzzles, riddles, codes, anagrams, like things to kind of like solve throughout a book, this is the book for you. I'm not saying that you have to solve them to read. You definitely don't have to. You can just read along for the fun. But it's kind of fun, like as a reader, like I enjoy like seeing an anagram on, or like a series of words that you're like, oh, this must like mean something. They must need rearranged. I enjoy doing that as a reader. So if you like doing stuff like that, this is the book series for you. Very easy reads, very quick reads. I really, really enjoyed them. I like kind of the plot twist of like, she goes to inherit this estate that she's never met this man before, and the grandsons are trying to convince her to give it up, and the family's trying to convince her to give it up, but they're getting nothing in the will, practically nothing. And the catch is she has to stay in the house for a year. Otherwise, the entire fortune goes up to charity. So they still don't get anything if she leaves. So it's like they have to live with her. And it's got secret passages, and there's riddles and hidden letters and books, and things are anagrams that you didn't think were going to be anagrams. And it's a good time. I love all four brothers. It's Jameson, Nash, Xavier, Grayson, because all the brothers were great. So this is gonna be such a niche thing. When I pictured Nash, I kept picturing Cory Monteith, specifically in Monte Carlo. If you've seen the movie, then you understand. It really did give me all the young dudes type vibes. Like, it kind of had that, like, fun brotherly camaraderie, running around a mysterious house kind of thing. And there's really no parental figures, so they're kind of just doing what they want. It's really, really good. The next one on my list is a fantasy, and this is one that you've probably heard of, maybe read, maybe you haven't gotten to it yet. This is your time to get to it. Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get better than this as far as fantasies go, in my opinion. I think this is the best series that Sarah J. Maas has. There's really no competition for me. Like, I don't even struggle with that choice. Throne of Glass is the best series she has. I like ACOTAR as much as the next gal. I love Crescent City as much as the next gal. But Throne of Glass, you just can't beat it. The characters, the development, the story, the action, the plot, the magic system, everything is beautiful. If you like epic battles and you love magic and fantastic character development and plot twists as far as the eye can see, you'll never know what's coming. You should read Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. In a land without magic, where the king rules with an iron hand, an assassin is summoned to the castle. She comes not to kill the king, but to win her freedom. If she defeats 23 killers, thieves, and warriors in a competition, she is released from prison to serve as the king's champion. Her name is Selena Sardothian. The crown prince will provoke her, the captain of the guard will protect her, but something evil dwells in the castle of glass, and it's there to kill. When her competitors start dying one by one, Selena's fight for freedom becomes a fight for survival, and a desperate quest to root out the evil before it destroys her world. It's so good. Also, the prince, Dorian, favorite character of the whole series. Love him. But yeah, if you like fantasy, if you've read any other Sarah J. Maas books and you haven't read Throne of Glass, I think you're really gonna like Throne of Glass. Like, it's my go-to recommendation for everyone. I literally usually recommend to people that are starting Sarah J. Maas to start with Throne of Glass. It's just a better, like, it's a more developed series. I think you get a good introduction to Sarah J. Maas with Throne of Glass. I love this series. I have no complaints about the series whatsoever. There's nothing I think she could have done better. It's a great fantasy. It's a great starter fantasy. If you're not really into fantasy that much, but you want to get started, I think this is a great place to start. My next book that I have on here is one of my personal favorites. This is a book series that I read in a week and a half, and it has been made into a movie. The movies are not my favorite thing in the world. We started out strong and we just kept going downhill from there. And that is After by Anna Todd. I have a deep-rooted obsession with the series. I think about this series daily. I read it in high school, literally all 4 books in a week and a half, and they're thick. Like, they're right here. These books. They're thick. And I read them in a week and a half. This was another one of those series that I was up until like 3 a.m. reading the dang thing because the chapters kept ending on a plot twist. And then by the time you start the next chapter to finish the plot twist, another plot twist happens after that plot twist, causing you to have to keep reading, and then there's just more plot twists, and it's endless plot twists and cliffhangers. I think this book gets a bad rep. Not necessarily that I see a lot of bad things about it, but I think people just don't hear about it, or maybe don't read it because it's a Harry Styles fan fiction, guys. It's not about Harry, but it's loosely based on Harry. Our main character's name is Hardin Scott. Hardin Scott, Harry Styles. You get it. So it's not about Harry, but it's loosely based on Harry. And it's not one of those Wattpad books that you're like, I was in the crowd with my hair in a messy bun because I didn't want to be there, and I was in my cutest outfit that I own because it was the only thing I had to wear, and I was reading my book and they saw me from afar and pulled me up on stage. It's not one of those. Tessa is a good girl with a sweet, reliable boyfriend back home. She's got direction, one direction, ambition, and a mother who's intent on keeping her that way. But she's barely moved into her freshman dorm when she runs into Hardin. With his tousled brown hair, cocky British accent, tattoos, and lip ring, Hardin is cute and different from what she's used to. But he's also rude, to the point of cruelty even. For all his attitude, Tessa should hate Hardin, and she does, until she finds herself alone with him in his room. Something about his dark mood grabs her, and when they kiss, it ignites within her a passion she's never known before. He'll call her beautiful, then insist he isn't the one for her, and disappear again and again. Despite the reckless way he treats her, Tessa is compelled to dig deeper and find the real Hardin beneath all his lies. He pushes her away again and again, yet every time she pushes back, he only pulls her in deeper. Tessa already has the perfect boyfriend, so why is she trying so hard to overcome her own hurt, pride, and Hardin's prejudice, about nice girls like her? Unless, could this be love? There was the time before Tessa met Hardin, and then there's everything after. Life will never be the same. The reason I went woohoo is because I'm also a huge fan of Pride and Prejudice. Peep this shelf, which is mostly Pride and Prejudice books. I own 13 copies. And this has a very strong Elizabeth and Darcy vibe. If you like Pride and Prejudice, you like the Elizabeth and Darcy vibe, this is for you. I love this series. I will never stop talking about this series. They do make some Pride and Prejudice references. Love when it's a contemporary romance that isn't too cheesy. It's gonna pull me in. The characters are lovable. There's nothing that's just gonna make me want to throw the book at the wall because I'm sick of reading it and I just don't want to read it anymore. I want to throw the book at the wall because I'm angry at what the characters have just done or that the author has just killed off that person. I will say a caveat with this. There are going to be times, because I went through it, my best friend went through it, there are going to be times when you're like, I cannot, if I have to read about them getting in another argument, I cannot keep reading this series. Honestly, by the time you're feeling like that, you're already getting roped back in. But if you do feel that way, you just got to push. You got to push through because it gets so good and it gets so beautiful. And I need a Hardin Scott in my life. I need the hardbacks. Anna Todd, if you're watching, I need hardbacks, please. My paperbacks have been through such a hard time. The first book, she's done, she's finished. Before anyone judges me and gets mad, I've read this book probably 3 or 4 times and it's been borrowed by people. Okay? It has been borrowed by people. She's in a suffering state. Anyways, After by Anna Todd, go read it. If you like contemporary romance, you like easy romance, you like a book that's going to keep you up till 3 o'clock in the morning because you can't put it down, that's the book for you. I know I said that the last one was one of my favorites, but this one is legitimately my favorite. In fact, I have a whole podcast talking about this series. And if you want to listen to it, it's called Pan Am Parley. You should go check it out. But also, that probably just gave it away because, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the one, the only, The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Because there is no better book to cozy up with than The Hunger Games. I know it's brutal, I know it's dark, I know it's depressing, but it's great. I personally love it. Winning means fame and fortune. Losing means certain death. The Hunger Games have begun. In the ruins of a place once known as North America lies the nation of Pan Am, a shining capital surrounded by 12 outlying districts. The capital is harsh and cruel and keeps the districts in line by forcing them all to send one boy and one girl between the ages of 12 and 18 to participate in the annual Hunger Games, a fight to the death on live TV. 16-year-old Katniss Everdeen regards it as a death sentence when she steps forward to take her sister's place in the games. But Katniss has been close to dead before, and survival for her is second nature. Without really meaning to, she becomes a contender. But if she is to win, she will have to start making choices that weigh survival against humanity and life against love. My man, Peter. Like I said, if you have read The Hunger Games and you want to do a chapter analysis of The Hunger Games with us, Liz and I are talking about it over on Pan and Parley. We just finished The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and we just recorded a movie review and recap. If you watched last week's video, then you know that I was recording right after that. Well, that was right before this. But if you haven't read The Hunger Games before, then you definitely should, because I don't know what else you've been doing with your life. I read these books in the 8th grade, and they are the first books that really got me into reading. I remember being obsessed with them. I wore the hair in the side braid. I wore the pen. It's hanging right there on the book. I did the side braid. I wore the pen. I wore the leather jacket. I wore the combat boots. I bought the t-shirts. I went to the movies and stood in line for an hour before the movie started just so I could get the good seat. If you have not read The Hunger Games, go do it right now. Leave this video, go read it, then come back. The Hunger Games, it's such a depressing series, but it's great. It's a good time. It will make you throw the book at the wall out of anger that the author just did that. So, sorry. As far as reading order for this goes, I've been asked before, like, what my recommended reading order is. If you would like to get into the story and then go back and learn about some of the characters that you've already read about in The Hunger Games and learn their origins and more about them, then read the trilogy first and then go read Ballad and then read Sunrise. If you are the type of person that you want to read it in chronological order, you would like to know everything about the characters going into the trilogy, then read Ballad, then Sunrise, then the trilogy. It really doesn't matter, I don't think. I love the world that Suzanne has built. There's so many other stories I would like to hear, different characters' POVs. I desperately want The Hunger Games from Pia's POV. I know there's a fan fiction out there with it, but I need Suzanne to write it. I also want Finnick's story. I would love Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes from Lucy's point of view, even if it's just like certain chapters. I feel like there's so many places she can still take it if she decides to. But if you want a book that you're going to be talking about and thinking about years later, then this is the book for you. Next on my list is one that I talked about earlier. She's sitting on that shelf over there. That's Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Guys, I'm going to keep it short and simple on this one because I know this is not the kind of book for everybody. But if you like Jane Austen books, you haven't read Pride and Prejudice, if you like classics, if you like Bridgerton, and you haven't read Pride and Prejudice, go read it. I think we all know what it's about, but if you don't, it is about this girl named Elizabeth. Her oldest sister is ready to get married, and she is very much of the consent that she is not going to get married. She wants to go live her life as a free woman, and she does not want to bend to the will of man. She's the original feminist. And she meets this guy. His name is Mr. Darcy. We love him. He's dark and brooding and much like Harden from the earlier description, and he's kind of rude to her several times, and she can't figure out quite why she's feeling pulled towards him. He can't figure out why he's pulled towards her, and they kind of are the original enemies to lovers. And, you know, it kind of sparks this whirlwind of dealing with class and society and what is expected of people back in the day. We deal with, like, a love affair and secrets and betrayal, and it's great. I think this is a great book to start with. It's obviously a classic. If you like enemies to lovers or just like classic books or books like Bridgerton, Pride and Prejudice is probably for you. Next is one that is pretty popular these days. If you've heard of Sarah J. Maas, you've probably heard of Rebecca Yarros, and that's Fourth Wing. You've probably already read Fourth Wing, honestly. If you like fantasy and you like stuff like Sarah J. Maas or you like books like that, you've probably already read Fourth Wing. But just in case you haven't, Fourth Wing is a classic fantasy. We have action and adventure and friendships and romance and dragons. And if your name is Alexis and you're watching this, specifically the only Alexis I'm thinking of in my head, you're probably thinking, why the heck is Carmen talking about Fourth Wing when she derailed on how much she didn't like the third book? Well, that's because the first book was amazing. And you might read the books and think, wow, this third book is really great, because Alexis did. And I don't think it's the worst book I ever read. I don't think it's the best book I ever read. But Fourth Wing was one of the best books I ever read. I thought it was a great new concept on a dragon book, on a fantasy book. 20-year-old Violet Swarngale was supposed to enter the scribe quadrant, living a quiet life among books and history. Now the commanding general, also known as her toughest Talon's mother, has ordered Violet to join the hundreds of candidates striving to become the elite of Navarre, dragon riders. But when you're smaller than everyone else and your body is brittle, death is only a heartbeat away, because dragons don't bond to fragile humans. They incinerate them. With fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets, most would kill Violet to better their chances of success. The rest would kill her just for being her mother's daughter. Like Xaden Ryerson, the most powerful and ruthless wing leader in the Riders Quadrant. She'll need every edge her wits can give her just to see the next sunrise. Yet with every day that passes, the war outside grows deadlier. The kingdom's protective wards are failing, and the death toll continues to rise. Even worse, Violet begins to suspect leadership is hiding a terrible secret. It's a solid fantasy. If you like dragons, if you like fantasy, swords, daggers, poison, romance, all the vibes of fantasy, then you'll like Fourth Wing. It's a really good book. I think it's a solid fantasy. I liked the take of like it being like a academy and she's having to pass classes while also passing like flight training and battle training and learning like herbology stuff, especially because she wasn't planning to go into the Riders Quadrant, so she's very much unprepared. And we very much have the underdog situation here, folks. If you like things with dragons and fantasy and fighting and action and romance, this is your book. I referenced it earlier. I don't know why I was about to do the Camp Rock. I don't know. I just did it. Anyways, if you were here since the beginning of the video and you, for some reason, I don't know why you would have started in the middle of the video, but maybe you did. You missed my Twilight reference earlier. Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. What book could be better for cozy books for the fall than Ha 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 Ho season? About 3 things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and I didn't know how dominant that part might be, that thirsted for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. It's a real classic. If you've only watched the movies, and I understand if you have, because I didn't read the books until college and I'd seen the movies several times over by then you need to read the books. Because the books are a whole new vibe, guys. They're a whole different thing going on. Bella's very different in the books, but the books are great. They're perfect for this season. Even if that means you read the book, watch the movie, 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 and then watch the movie again, because part 2. If you do like the movies, I suggest reading the books. I think they add more to the story. I'm okay if you skip New Moon, because New Moon is one of the worst books I've ever read. It's so boring. It's so dry. And I understand if you can't make it through. If you have to DNF that sucker and move on to Eclipse, that's fine. I think all Twilight fans would agree with that, quite frankly. But yeah, I don't think it gets more classic than, you know, Twilight. If you don't know what Twilight's about, it's about a girl named Bella who moves to Forks and she falls in love with this with this vampire and his family, and there's now a vampire hunting her, and it's a good time. So this is for my mystery lovers. Frida McFadden is a fantastic mystery writer. If you like mystery books and you haven't read Frida McFadden, then I suggest you do so, and I suggest you start, if you haven't read it already, with The Housemaid. Every day I clean the Winchesters' beautiful house top to bottom. I collect their daughter from school, and I cook a delicious meal for the whole family before heading up to eat alone in my tiny room on the top floor. I try to ignore how Nina makes a mess just to watch me clean it up, how she tells strange lies about her own daughter, and how her husband Andrew seems more broken every day. But as I look into Andrew's handsome brown eyes, so full of pain, it's hard not to imagine what it would be like to live Nina's life. The walk-in closet, the fancy car, the perfect husband. I only try on one of Nina's pristine white dresses once, just to see what it's like. But she soon finds out, and by the time I realize my attic bedroom door only locks from the outside, it's far too late. But I reassure myself, the Winchesters don't know who I really am. They don't know what I'm capable of. If you like mystery and you like things with lots of plot twists, any Frida McFadden book is going to be for you. The Housemaid, I suggest starting with because it is a solid Frida McFadden book. It's a great mystery, and the movie comes out this winter. It can't possibly not be good with the casting they've got for it. So the thing that Frida tends to do is Frida gives you a prologue. And the prologue's gonna have something crazy happening, and it's something that happens in the, like, towards the end of the book. But you don't know whose POV that is. So then you have to read the rest of the book trying to figure out whose POV was that? Who was that happening to? There's always a plot twist, there's always a little right hook, there's always a cliffhanger. I will say her books are not like Natasha Preston books. I can't stand Natasha Preston books because they too have plot twists and are amazing mysteries, but they always end on a cliffhanger and there's never a sequel, and it's upsetting. If you like solid mysteries with good plots and lots of plot twists, and you'll never actually see what's going to happen coming, this is the book for you. My next two books are books by Candy Steiner. She also does romance books. I recently met her and she was lovely. She was great. And two of her books recently got re-released in a new paperback, and I read them and think that they're perfect for fall. First of all, because they're both about football. And, you know, what better time to read about football than in the fall? The first book that I've got here is The Wrong Games. 2 season tickets, 1 genius idea, 0 interest in a relationship. The plan is simple. A brand new, hot, preferably funny, definitely single male will fill one of those seats for every Bears game at Soldier Field, and I'll fill the other. I can't think of a better way to use the season passes I'd bought for my ex-husband. I am a woman of plans, and this one's foolproof. Until Zach Bowen offers to be my practice round. He's infuriating, presumptuous and overbearing, and absolutely undeniably gorgeous. Any woman with a heartbeat would be attracted to him, and mine picks up speed every time he speaks. But as I said, I'm a woman of plans, and I'm not backing down on this one. 1 night, 1 game, and then his time's up. He can try to change the rules, but here's the truth. He can't win if he's playing the wrong game. And then the other one is The Right Player, which is the sequel to that one. Different characters, so you can kind of read them in a different order. I accidentally read The Right Player before reading The Wrong Game, so something minor got spoiled, but I have a 3-date rule, but it's not what you think. See, I've been told I'm the good time girl, not the one you take home to mom. And while that label stung at first, I've since embraced it, living the wild and free life and sticking to a 3-date max. That's just enough time to have some fun and snuff out the possibility of catching feelings. And it's been working for me for years. Until Makoa Kamaka. Sadly, he also has a 3-date rule, and it's the exact opposite of mine. From the second I meet him, all I can think about is stripping down that 6'5" Herculean hunk of a man. But like the gentleman I wish he wasn't, he's making me wait. The more time we spend together, the more I feel those pesky emotions creeping in. I'm even tempted to trust him, but blame it on my past or my instincts. I can't shake the feeling that he's hiding something. I've been playing the game forever, and no man has ever won my heart, which meant they never had the power to break it. But maybe I just hadn't met the right player. Maybe I'll wish I never did. Both these books obviously revolve around football. One is about a football player, which is The Right Player, and the other one is she's got season tickets, and she's trying to figure out how dates with different guys would go. So she takes Zach out on the first one as a practice, and, you know, the rest is history. Personally, I liked The Right Player better. I'm not saying that The Wrong Game was bad by any means, and it could have been the fact that when I read The Right Player, I already knew what happened. I don't suggest doing that, but if you do it on accident, that's fine. No judgment from here. But yeah, they're both centered around football, so they're very fall-esque. You know, obviously it takes place during fall, so it's just a really good cozy romance read. Very easy reads, very simple. You're gonna finish them pretty quick. They are on Kindle Unlimited, so that's a nice easy read. The new paperbacks are great. I got to meet Candy, so I bought the new paperbacks and had her sign them. But yeah, I think they're very easy romance reads. If you like just a solid contemporary romance, this is gonna be the books for you. I haven't been able to read any of her other books, but I'm excited to start them. I think I'm gonna read A Love Letter to Whiskey this month, because that's the one she's been advertising for re-release, and everyone that I've heard has read that has loved it. So it's on my list. To me, a cozy fall book is a book that I can read pretty easily and, you know, kind of finish in a day or two, maybe a week at max, just depending on how busy. And, you know, they're pretty easy to get into, nothing too crazy. And all of these books, I think, have really fit that bill. That is all the books that I have for cozy books for the fall. Like I said, I think cozy books for the fall should definitely fit into the category of, can I read this easily? Am I going to get lost? Am I going to stay interested? And I think all of these tick the right boxes. You're going to be able to read them pretty easily. You're going to be able to get into them easily. None of the worlds, I think, are too complicated. Everything's explained pretty easily, and you're just going to fall in and not be able to put the books down. I guarantee you. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope maybe you found a couple new books to read this fall that you maybe haven't read yet. If you've read any of these books and you want to just express how much you loved or hated them, then leave me notes in the comments below on which books you liked and have read. And maybe if you have any other cozy fall book suggestions, I'm always open to add to the TBR, because clearly, you know, I don't have enough books. I need to add. So if you think of anything else that you think would fit the bill, let me know in the comments below. I do want to give a quick music shout out to Katie Wampler, my cousin, who composed all the music you hear in this video and other videos. Quick tag, if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can follow this channel's Instagram at carmens.corner, or you can follow my bookstagram at Carmen's Reading Corner, which is just book-centered things. And be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this so you can stay up to date on all things happening, especially right now because it's fall and I've got a lot of fall fun videos planned and a lot of fun spooky season videos planned for next month. So be sure you subscribe so you can come back, and we will see you. I don't know who we is. Me and Sammy, that's the we. I will see you next week. Happy fall, y'all. Hallelujah. All that good stuff. Bye.